Deion Sanders challenges freshman QB Julian Lewis to take command at Colorado practice. It's a cool autumn morning in Boulder, and the rhythmic sound of helmets colliding echoes across the practice field at the University of Colorado. The Buffaloes are deep into another week of preparation, refining details, tightening fundamentals, and pushing through fatigue. But during one recent practice, a sharp voice suddenly cut through the noise. "Have you said anything?" It was Deion, Coach Prime Sanders, his tone direct, his message unmistakable. The target of his challenge wasn't a senior captain or a veteran star. It was Julian Lewis, Colorado's young, gifted, and still developing true freshman quarterback. The moment, captured on video and shared by Locked On Buffs, revealed the latest glimpse of Sanders' intense, hands-on approach to leadership development. As Lewis stood behind center during a drill, the offense had just committed several bad snaps in a row. Sanders stopped the entire session, eyes locked on his freshman signal caller. "So we've had 3 bad snaps since then and you don't even tell him?" Sanders said, referring to Lewis's center. "So he don't know. Take control of this." That brief exchange spoke volumes. Not only about Coach Prime's coaching philosophy, but also about what he expects from the future face of Colorado football. The making of a leader, Julian Lewis isn't just any freshman. He's one of the most intriguing quarterback prospects to arrive in Boulder in years. A player whose talent, maturity, and potential have already caught the attention of national scouts. At just 18 years old, Lewis has already lived under the bright lights of football fame. He reclassified from the class of 2026 to 2025, graduating high school early and stepping onto the college stage sooner than most. Ranked as the number 56 overall recruit and the number 7 quarterback in his class by On3, Lewis arrived at Colorado as a 4-star talent with an NFL-level ceiling. But talent alone doesn't make a leader. That's the message Deion Sanders is driving home day after day. Even though Lewis has yet to play meaningful minutes this season, Sanders is investing heavily in the young quarterback's growth, not just as an athlete, but as a commander. In Sanders' world, quarterbacks aren't just throwers of the football. They're CEOs of the offense, field generals responsible for managing chaos, holding teammates accountable, and setting the emotional tone for everyone else. When Sanders stopped that practice and demanded that Lewis speak up, he wasn't criticizing his ability, he was nurturing his voice. Take control of this. Coach Prime's philosophy in action, Deion Sanders. Coaching style is often misunderstood by those who see only the highlight clips and motivational quotes. Behind the flash, the cameras, and the viral sound bites lies a coach with a deeply personal understanding of pressure, responsibility, and leadership. Sanders knows what it's like to stand alone in the spotlight. As one of the few athletes in history to play in both the Super Bowl and the World Series, he's lived the highs and lows of competition at the very top. And now, he's using those lessons to mold the next generation of leaders, starting with Lewis. By calling out the young quarterback during practice, Sanders wasn't embarrassing him. He was empowering him. In football culture, especially for quarterbacks, silence can sometimes be interpreted as hesitation. Sanders wants none of that. He's teaching Lewis that leadership isn't just about performance, it's about presence. "You can't be afraid to speak up," Sanders said earlier this season when asked about developing young players. "You've got to command the room. You've got to make people believe in you." For Sanders, that starts long before Saturdays under the stadium lights. It begins in practice, in the huddle, and even in the moments when no one is watching. A future star in the making. Julian Lewis's potential is undeniable. His mechanics are clean, his release is quick, and his decision-making already shows flashes of maturity far beyond his age. But what truly excites Sanders and the Colorado staff is Lewis's ceiling. They see in him a long-term investment, a player who could one day become the centerpiece of Colorado's offensive identity. Still, Sanders is cautious. He's not one to throw a young player into the fire before he's ready. "I mean, he's just young," Sanders said after Lewis's first brief appearance earlier in the season. "You can't throw everything at him. You don't want to do that. You don't want him to feel like he failed. So you got to proceed with caution." Those comments came after Lewis took his first college snaps during Colorado's Week 2 game against the Delaware Fightin' Blue Hens. In that game, He attempted just 4 passes, completing 2 for 8 yards. It wasn't much, but for Sanders, the game was less about stats and more about introducing Lewis to the pace and pressure of the college level. "Some guys want you to just throw them in there," Sanders added. "But I'm too protective. I love the kid, and I want the kid to be successful." Patience as a strategy for a coach known for his charisma and intensity, Sanders' approach to developing Lewis is surprisingly patient. In an era where fans and programs often demand instant results, Sanders is taking the long view. He's building Lewis from the inside out, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, ensuring that when his time finally comes, he'll be more than just ready. He'll be unshakable. The Colorado Buffaloes quarterback room already has competition. Veteran Kaidon Salter, who transferred to the program with experience and confidence, has solidified his spot as the starter for now. He's coming off a strong performance before the team's bye week, and the coaching staff appears content with keeping Lewis in a developmental role for the rest of the season. That's not a demotion. It's a design. Sanders has seen too many young quarterbacks rushed into roles they weren't emotionally or mentally equipped to handle. For him, Lewis represents the future, and the future deserves time to grow. Learning by watching, even if Lewis isn't playing every Saturday, he's still absorbing lessons at a rapid pace. Sanders has made sure of that. During practices, Lewis gets reps, not only throwing the ball, but leading drills, reading defenses, and learning how to communicate effectively with older teammates. Sanders wants him to take ownership, to learn what it means to direct an offense rather than just execute one. And when Sanders sees something he doesn't, such as a quarterback staying quiet after multiple bad snaps, he steps in immediately. The message is consistent. Leadership isn't optional. By demanding accountability from Lewis now, Sanders is cultivating habits that will carry over when the spotlight eventually shifts his way. It's not about immediate perfection. It's about building an identity rooted in responsibility. Lessons from Shedeur Sanders, perhaps the best. Example Lewis can look to is right within the Sanders family. Before Shedeur Sanders became the face of Colorado football and eventually joined the Cleveland Browns. He was once a freshman navigating similar challenges under his father's guidance. At Jackson State and later at Colorado, Shedeur transformed from a talented recruit into a poised, efficient, and fearless leader, largely because of Deion's tough love and structured mentorship. Under Coach Prime's watch, Shedeur improved his completion rate, cut down on turnovers, and emerged as one of the most disciplined quarterbacks in the country. Now, Deion is hoping to replicate that developmental success with Julian Lewis. "He's got the talent," Sanders said, "but talent without leadership doesn't win games. You've got to be able to command men. That's what I'm trying to teach him." It's a lesson learned through experience, and one that continues to define the culture Sanders is building in Boulder. The long road ahead as Colorado enters its bye week, the Buffaloes find themselves in a crucial stretch of their season. With 5 games remaining, every snap counts. But for Lewis, this period isn't about chasing immediate playing time. It's about laying the groundwork for what's next. The coaching staff is carefully monitoring his reps and progress, balancing his development with the potential to preserve his redshirt status. If the Buffaloes can avoid injuries at quarterback, Lewis might spend the rest of 2025 learning rather than playing, a scenario Sanders is perfectly comfortable with. Still, the hunger is there.